Hello everybody. If you want all the story's content in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. Short story 875, The Empty Chair. Advanced. Eleanor had not planned to attend the reunion. 30 years since she had last walked the polished corridors of Edgbaston High, and the invitation had sat on her kitchen counter for 2 months, buried under unpaid bills and supermarket leaflets. It was a Wednesday evening in October when she finally picked it up again, read the gold-embossed words, and decided, for no clear reason, to go. She wore a grey coat and sensible shoes. Her hair, once the colour of autumn leaves, had faded to something like sand. She drove slowly through Birmingham traffic, following a satnav voice that sounded more certain than she felt. The school had not changed much. Same red brick, same iron gates, same smell of floor polish and old rain. But the woman inside had changed completely. At the registration desk, a volunteer with bright purple spectacles checked her name. Eleanor Cross. Oh, you were in Mr. Davies' form. He still talks about your class. The one that never stopped arguing. Eleanor smiled politely. Though she remembered no arguments, she remembered silence. The hall was arranged with round tables, white cloths, small vases of artificial flowers. Women stood in clusters, laughing too loudly or whispering too softly. Eleanor poured herself a glass of white wine from a plastic jug and stood near the window. She recognized faces, but not names. Someone touched her elbow. Eleanor, it's me, Patricia, Pat from PE. Pat had grown into a broad, cheerful woman with short grey curls and strong hands. She hugged Eleanor without asking permission. I heard you live in Wales now. Writing books, is it? Guides, walking guides, nothing exciting. Still, you always had your nose in a book. Remember the library? You used to hide behind the geography section at lunch. Eleanor did remember. She had hidden there to avoid the others. Not Patricia, who had always been kind but loud, but the 3 girls at the back of the science lab, Cheryl, Amanda, and Zoe. They had called her Bones because she was thin. They had taken her PE kit and left it in a puddle of rain. They had passed notes about her in the history class, folded into paper aeroplanes that landed at her feet. She had never told anyone, not her mother, who was busy with the baby, not Mr. Davies, who said sticks and stones when she tried once, vaguely, to complain. So she had stopped trying. She had sat alone at lunch, walked home a different way, and learned to make herself small. Patricia was still talking. And do you remember the talent show? You played the piano. Chopin. Everyone was so impressed. No one was impressed, Eleanor said quietly. Someone unplugged the piano before I started. The sound stopped halfway through. Patricia frowned. I don't remember that. No, Eleanor said. No one did. The dinner began. Roast chicken, overdone carrots, gravy from a packet. Eleanor ate little. She watched the women around her. Solicitors, teachers, grandmothers, one woman who had been on a reality television show about cakes. They had all grown up. They had all moved on. And yet, when the speeches started and the lights dimmed, Eleanor felt herself shrink again. Then a voice came from the microphone. And now, a few words from our head girl from 1995. Please welcome Amanda Finch. Amanda, the same sharp chin, the same blonde hair now silver at the roots. She walked to the stage with easy confidence, a glass in one hand, a note card in the other. She spoke about friendship, about loyalty, about how school had shaped her. The room applauded. Eleanor did not clap. After the speech, Eleanor found herself in the cloakroom, reaching for her coat. The door opened. Amanda walked in, followed by Cheryl and Zoe. For a moment, the 4 of them stood in the fluorescent light. Eleanor, Amanda tilted her head. Goodness, you look exactly the same. It was not a compliment. Cheryl laughed, a short bark. Still quiet as a mouse, are you? Zoe said nothing. She examined Eleanor like a museum exhibit. Eleanor could feel the old response rising, the tight throat, the downward gaze, the wish to disappear. But she was 52 years old. She had climbed mountains in Snowdonia. She had published 12 books. She had nursed her mother through cancer and buried her father last spring. She was not the girl behind the geography section anymore. I remember you, Eleanor said. Her voice was steady. I remember every note you passed, every time you laughed when I walked into a room, every single day for 5 years. Amanda's smile flickered. That was so long ago. Children are cruel. We were just children. You were 17 when you unplugged the piano. That is not a child, that is a choice. The cloakroom was very quiet. A radiator clicked. Cheryl looked at the floor. Zoe folded her arms. Amanda opened her mouth, then closed it. Eleanor put on her grey coat. She picked up her handbag. She walked to the door, then stopped. I am not asking for an apology, she said. I stopped needing one 20 years ago, but I want you to know that I see you. I see exactly what you did, and I survived it, not because of you, despite you. She walked out. The car park was cold and dark. She pressed the key fob and the car beeped. Inside, she sat for a long moment, hands on the steering wheel. Then she started the engine and drove home. The next morning, she opened her laptop and began a new chapter of her walking guide. It was about a path through the Brecon Beacons, a route that climbed steeply and then levelled out at a ridge where the wind was always loud. She typed, "At the summit there is a bench. It faces south. You can see for miles. Sit there for 5 minutes. Do not look at your phone. Look at the hills. They have been here longer than any memory that hurts you." She finished the chapter by lunchtime. She closed the laptop. She made tea, and for the first time in 30 years, she did not think about Amanda Finch at all. If you learned a new word today, please make sure to subscribe so you can practice again next time. Vocabulary notes. Polished, adjective, meaning in context. Smooth, shiny and well maintained, referring to the school corridors. It suggests care, order and a slightly formal or impressive appearance. Example, 30 years since she had last walked the polished corridors of Edgbaston High. Similar words, gleaming, burnished, varnished, smooth, immaculate. Further example, the hotel lobby had polished marble floors that reflected the chandeliers. Vaguely, adverb, meaning in context, in a way that is not clear, specific or detailed. Here, Eleanor tried to complain but did so weakly and without full commitment. Example, when she tried once, vaguely, to complain. Similar words, loosely, imprecisely, hazily, indistinctly, faintly. Further example, he vaguely remembered meeting her at a conference but could not recall her name. Fluorescent, adjective, meaning in context, giving out very bright white or bluish light, used here to describe the harsh and flattering light of the school cloakroom. Example, for a moment the four of them stood in the fluorescent light. Similar words, neon, bright, glaring, electric, luminous. Further example, the office was lit by long fluorescent tubes that hummed quietly all day. Flickered, verb, meaning in context, of a smile. appeared briefly and then faded or became uncertain, showing that Amanda's confidence was suddenly shaken. Example, Amanda's smile flickered. Similar words, faltered, wavered, glimmered briefly, guttered, like a candle flame, hesitated. Further example, his expression flickered between surprise and annoyance before he said nothing. Survived, verb, meaning in context, continue to live or exist despite difficult or painful experiences. Eleanor uses this word to claim her strength, not her victimhood. Example, and I survived it, not because of you, despite you. Similar words, endured, outlived, came through, weathered, got through. Further example, the old house survived 3 wars and a flood before it was finally demolished. Story written by DeepSeek, image created by onemin.ai. To read, see all the story's content in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. CC Music, drifting at 432 Hz, Unicorn Heads.